Okay. Whew. All right. Hi, everyone. Let me see. Do I have my volume all the way up? All right. Let's go. Hi. Hello. Can you
Yo,
hear me? Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. I'm like adjusting volume and everything. How's it going, Vance?
where's my connection? Hey, mate, I'm just gonna
Oh,
just in case my connection is weak here because the Wi-Fi is a bit is a bit I don't know. There's a couple of different Wi-Fi points and the trials of Wi-Fi. So excuse me as I go
I
through
know,
sort of.
totally. I
Let's
had to
see how
find my
this
like
goes.
one little corner where it's not gonna like mess up.
Exactly. All right, let's do this. I was hoping that
I can
works.
definitely
Okay, we're
hear
gonna.
you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. How's this? How's that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
sweet.
Good lighting.
I know it's a bit. Okay, try and get the lighting better. There's another light around here somewhere. All right, here we go.
I
Should
had
be
to
good.
turn off the lighting I had because as soon as I turned it on, I was like, that's way too sweaty.
Well, I'm talking about sweaty. It's hot. It's hot here in Barcelona, and yeah, I just had a shower, but I feel like I'm already sweating.
Oh, lost me.
So you're Marcus, am I correct?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
Marcus.
okay.
Welcome to EW Songwriters Camp. We're so happy to have you. Hi, everyone in
Thank
the
you, man.
comments that's here. I'm talking to Vance Joy. Everyone say hi to Vance.
Hey guys. Hey Marcus. Thanks
They're
for
all
having me,
excited to
man.
see you. Oh, no, totally. We're definitely happy to have you. And of course, this is called Songwriters Camp. So, I mean, the first thing we usually ask is when did you first start writing songs?
Okay, good. And I just noticed my connection, well, at least on my end, went funny for a second. But I'm right near the portable Wi-Fi point, and I'm sitting in like
Okay.
a wheelie office chair in the kitchen. So we'll just let's see how we go. Yeah. So how old was I when I started songwriting?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was about I was about like 16 or 17, maybe yeah, around that age, and it was all like just like parody songs. Like I'd play like a cover of like "Time of Your Life" by Green Day, and I would just try and make funny lyrics, you know. And I remember I was at my school. I guess we call it a formal, but it's like our school dance, like the equivalent of the
Yeah.
prom. But I went to an all boys school, and the prom was just like, you ask whoever will come with you, and you just like sit at tables, and then there was like a bit of a dance kind of thing. And anyway, I sung a parody song, and that was the beginning for me of songwriting because it was like just trying to put funny lyrics to songs that everyone knew, and
Yeah.
just that process felt like songwriting because it was like finding the right words and getting things to rhyme and fitting things in the right spaces. So yeah, that's when it started, and then I started writing my own songs with my own lyrics and my own music, and they all sucked, obviously, or like that. Not even in a mean way. It was just like there was a lot of there was some promise, but I just needed to keep working on it.
Nice. Did you do any sort of like talent show stuff? You mentioned like there was the formal thing, but were you sort of like developing it into like I'm gonna keep trying this out live?
Yeah, yeah. I think even if I kind of was so scared of getting in front of people, like honestly, the first few the ones when you're doing a funny song for your school friends, that's kind of like you have like a protection in that case because it's like I don't know, like you can't really miss too badly because it's like I'm singing a song everyone knows. I'm singing like whatever it is, "Time of Your Life" by Green Day or like some other hit, and then it's just like referencing all the funny stuff that was happening at school at the time. So it's much safer than when I started singing my own songs when I was about like 23 or 4 at I went and did open mic nights. There was
Mm.
a bar that was had open mic nights near me, and I put my name down, and that was terrifying because that was like playing my original music. But yeah, I always like, even if it was scary, I always seemed to be putting myself in front of people. Um, and just, yeah, even though it was like, it's scary and just terrifying, I guess, at the start,
Hmm.
for whatever reason, I had this drive to just keep doing it.
Yeah. And were the open mic nights when it was like you sort of becoming the artist Vance Joy, and why the stage name?
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think I played about, I would have played like, it would only have been like 3 or 4 open mic nights. And then around that time, I was thinking maybe it'd be cool to have a stage name, partly because my last name, and so my name is James in real life, and my last name is Keogh, which is an Irish name, and it's spelled Keogh, and it's it's not that, I think it's quite a common name in Ireland, but it's a hard one to read and then pronounce and get right. So I thought I'll make
Yeah.
it simpler for people, more easy to pronounce. But also, a friend of mine from high school, he goes by the alias Chet Faker, and he
Oh
was like,
yeah.
yeah, and he was like making waves in like 2011, and he had a song that blew up online and went viral, and it was crazy because we were like, oh, whoa, like Nick, wait, is he like he's huge now? And it was like something like he had like it was a big deal, and like we all, I guess I just was like inspired by him as well, and I was like, I better get an alias, and if it's really going to work, I better have an alias, and I guess that was my thinking.
Nice. Oh my God. Was that song Gold? Was that the song that went
Oh
viral?
yeah, like oh yeah, he has a song called Gold, which is yeah, that was huge. This is even pre that. Like that was a song I think that really was like
Hmm.
compared to his first stuff, that was way bigger. But even in that first moment of him kind of rising into people's getting around and making an impression on people, he had a cover of No Diggity, and
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and he did that. He recorded that in his garage at his mum's house, and yeah, it just was popping off on blogs and stuff. So yeah, that was the moment. Yeah.
That's awesome. One thing about your past too is you used to be an athlete, right?
Yeah, yes, I was definitely pretty into sport. Yeah.
So, is there any part of being an athlete that kind of prepared you to be a singer songwriter?
Part of being an athlete. Sorry, go ahead.
That prepared you to be a singer songwriter, whether it's like performing, songwriting, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think there was an element of discipline required for football, and I think back to like even when I was in like towards the end of high school, I was trying out for the school football team, and just there was a few key moments, like obviously key moments in my life, in my storyline. Like to everyone else, it was just a normal day, but I just remember like just also just like I know it sounds so weak, but like hating getting up really early, like the long like hardcore training sessions, like kind of like just like saying you'll do something and committing to it. And I remember
Yeah.
one. This is a story. I always tell this story to my whoever's listening and my girlfriend and my family and stuff. But I remember I was before an important game, which was for selection in the high school, like the kind of top football team in the high school. I remember a game that was basically we are all getting selected from playing this game. And the day before, I was hanging out with a friend, and we were just mucking around on these scooters, like those like raised, like kind of the scooters that kids ride around today, those little metal
Yeah.
ones. And
Yeah.
I had an act. I went down. I was wearing flip flops, flip flops.
Hmm.
These things.
Yeah.
I was wearing
Definitely.
these. So
Are those happy
don't wear
honest?
these on one of the. No, they're not. They're Billabong. I didn't even go and get the cool ones. Whatever cool ones is, but these were bought recently. But
Yeah.
I was wearing like I would have been wearing whatever my Havaianas. I think I would have been, and unfortunately, I didn't realize how much of a bad idea that was because I was went down this really steep hill on a scooter, and like my thong like was my flip flop was like I don't know not placed correctly or something, and
Yeah.
it got the brake on the back of the scooter got so hot, and it was like on fire, and I couldn't put my foot on it, so I had to just go down this hill, and it was going down into like a T intersection with like traffic, and I was like I'm gonna die, and I just was like going so fast, and I put my foot on the like the road, and I
Yeah.
like to stop myself, but it like cut up a bunch of my foot, and like my bottom of my heel was like peeled away, like so many
Oh,
layers of skin. It was like disgusting. Anyway, I know this is not the question you asked, but there is a point to what I'm telling the story. Is that
yeah,
that I think from sport I learned some mental toughness, because I remember the day after that I could barely walk. My foot was in bandages, and then the game was the like 2 days later, and I was kind of limping around, and I remember going to the football game, and I was like, Mum, I'm just going to tell the coach that I can't do it. Like, I've got a fair excuse. I'm embarrassed to tell him why I can't play, that I fell off the scooter, but also I don't need to, hurt myself more. And then Mum was like, maybe you can play. She's like, do you think you can, just try? And whatever it was, she gave me a big motivational speech, perhaps, but she just said, do it. And I
yeah,
played the game, and I actually, once the adrenaline kicked in, I was fine. And I don't know. I think I had a similar moment when I lost my voice like 10 years later. I honestly had totally blown out my voice, and I thought it
mm,
was done. Like, I was rehearsing to play at a music awards show, and I couldn't even hit the high notes of Riptide. I was totally busted. And
yeah,
and I was like terrified. I was like, it's going to be on television. And I was like, I can't even sing. It's going to be the worst thing in the world. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to sing again. Anyway, I got up on stage. I had no idea what was going to happen, but then the adrenaline kicked in again. And, for like this 3 minute window, I could sing the song, and then I lost my voice again. But I'm sorry for talking so much, but that was a story about sport connecting to music in some way, I guess.
no, I love the arc. I love
Okay,
that we got a
thank you.
shout out to Billabong sandals, Razor scooters, all in the sake of it's all a part of the songwriting. But the next question I
Exactly.
asked is sort of like, how does songwriting really start with you? Is it like production first, lyrics? Is there a
Mm.
collaboration happening early on?
Yeah, it feels always different. For me, I feel like my phone is filled with just little bits and pieces of song ideas with guitar, and um, yeah, it's always evolving, and I think often it's just starting with a guitar riff. If it's a strong guitar riff, then you're off to the races. And then even just sticking things together, like I'll have like another idea, maybe a melody that I didn't consider as being, something that might work with this first riff. But I don't know. I feel like if I if I show someone else, someone with collaborating with someone, I can show, hey, this is an idea I've had for ages, and they'll help to kind of to put the sticky tape in the right places, and then you can make a seamless song. So for
Mm,
me, it usually starts with the guitar and then a melody and then the lyrics. But also, I like the idea of getting something produced, maybe even just like a loop or something, and then trying to write with that. But I think I've had my best results just guitar and going back and forth, either by myself or with a guitar going back and forth with another songwriter.
yeah. I want to remind the audience this is EW Songwriters Camp with Vance Joy. And I forgot to say, feel free to use the Q&A thing because I'll try and get some questions in from the audience a little bit later. But jumping ahead a little bit is like how has like performing live kind of impact your songwriting? Because once you get your sort of artist career going,
Mm.
you get to see like the reaction of people hearing these songs, and so I wonder, like, having that experience, how does it change then making new songs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's funny. Like, I feel like some of the easiest songs when we go into the studio are the ones where you've written the song and then you've had to go on tour for like a year, and you just because you're excited to play a new song, you work the song up with your band, and you like figure out a bunch of parts, and you kind of always developing it on the road and playing it, and then by the time you get into the studio, it's like, oh yeah, we know all the parts of this song. This is what the keys do. This is what the bass line is. This is like harmonies, and it's all so easy to do, and you don't have to kind of figure it out and crack the code quite as much.
Yeah,
Also, cracking the code in the studio is a really fun experience, because you'll just be like, okay, this is what I play on guitar, and my drummer Ed will be like, how about this drum beat? How about this drum beat? And it will kind of, when you finally figure out the right way to dress the song up, it can be really fun and rewarding. Also, anyone who wants to watch a great music doco, Some Kind of Monster is awesome. The one about
oh
Metallica,
yeah,
and if you want an insight into that, I mean, my experience wasn't exactly like that, but I could relate a little bit. But yeah, I think playing live, even just road testing songs, I have a song from my first album called Mess Is Mine, and it was
Yep.
before it was even properly written. I played it at this venue, and I was like, I'm gonna just play this song. It's not even done. Like I just had like a verse chorus. I didn't know what was happening really after that. I kind of had the bridge idea, but I didn't know where what. Basically, I had three cool parts. I didn't know where to put them, but I just played it live in I think it was in Minneapolis at this nice venue. I remember they had really good steak and after the show, and I played it, and the crowd gave me a good response. You know, I think that I may have lost them about halfway through the song because I didn't know what I was doing, but I think at the start, the reaction I got at the start also gave me this encouragement. I was like, oh, I felt good about this song, and I got that feedback, and it made me. I guess it's a motivating thing as well.
Yeah. I have some more questions, but let's see what the audience is saying because I can like mix them in. Let's
For sure.
see. Uh, um, okay. Some of this is like, can you sing Riptide? It's like, not right now.
No.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Did
What else
you?
you got?
So this is from Mariana. It says, did you start playing instruments before or after you started writing songs?
Um, sorry, I got distracted, Marcus. I saw one that said, "Who is laying in bed?" I don't know what that was, but sorry, can you repeat your question? I went into a zone of reading the thing.
Don't worry, no. Once you start looking, it can be like zoomed in,
Yeah,
distracting.
yeah, yeah.
It was someone was asking, did you learn instruments before or after you started writing songs?
Oh, yeah. I learned instruments first, and I think took a while for me to really get addicted to playing guitar. But my dad was very kind of he kind of like kept making me or kept he bought me a guitar when I was 11, and then I was like, okay, I did some lessons, and I kind of didn't like lessons, and then he kept coming back to me like he was like, I got you booked lessons, and he was kind of always kind of pushing me, gentle but consistent pushing of me to learn an instrument. So I eventually got addicted to guitar when I was 14 or 15, playing my favorite songs. And then, yeah, once you can play guitar and sing at the same time, it really just opens that door to songwriting, I think.
Yeah. I liked one that was in the comments. There's let's see. Maria asks, how do you feel about traveling? Do you love it or get tired of it? What's your favorite place so far?
Ah, okay. That's a great question. So that question was traveling on the road and being on the road so much, do I get tired of it? But what is my favorite place so far? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, I think it's been a long time. It's been a long time off the road now, so I think part of me is excited about. It has been great as well, being so still and getting to like really, just strengthen all my friendships and hang out with my family and my girlfriend so much. But I'm also like just the last tour we did was in Europe, and it was the most fun tour of our like for me it was my favorite tour of all time, and we were opening up for Pink, and we just did a summer European. It was amazing, and it was like a summer European tour. Her show is so good, and I don't know, like that was just such a like uplifting and just so much joy and good vibes came out of that tour. Like her show was incredible, the catering was really good, and we had like days off, heaps of days off every couple of days. So we'd be in Germany, and then we were in, Bruges one day, and it felt like a summer holiday with a bit of structure. Like we were still playing
Mhm.
shows, feeling like we were doing a good job, but we also were like, okay, we've got 2 days off. Okay, what are we doing? And there's so much excitement, and we were discovering new places. So I definitely have a thirst to do that again. And I think it's hard to nail it down to a single place, but that whole European run was just incredible, and it was like I think the right time of year, and I think I don't know. I have some great memories. Sweden was pretty great. I remember being in Stockholm with my best friend Robbie. He came on tour for a few days. We went and we went skateboarding together, and I ate some great food and went to this like really fun party that was like in this really cool location. So that one sticks out off the top of my head.
Yeah. And then, sorry, I was looking a little bit through the Q&A portion. I will ask, like, do you feel like you're a songwriter where you kind of have to like live life in order to work on a new album? Because of course, with touring, you're having all those new experiences. but just in general, do you feel like you need sort of time to have more life experiences before you dive into something, or do you not necessarily need to like live through something in order to write a song?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that's definitely there's some definite truth to that about having life experiences, and I've heard that said before. You need to take time. You have to have some input to have some output, and things experiences to draw on.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. Like today, I was just like, I went and bought a couple of books, and I was like, I have so many ideas for lyrics when I just read books. So I finished my favorite book I was reading for a couple of months, and then I bought a couple more books today. So I did that consciously. I think they call it like an artist date. I read that in this book called The Artist's Way, where you go and treat yourself to a
Hmm.
kind of an activity where you're letting your mind wander and you're opening yourself up to creativity. So I think for sure, and it's hard to really be too conscious of these things. It's like I'm gonna go live life now. What should I do? Like, should I? It's hard to like make it happen. But I think yeah, I'm just like letting go a bit in the last few weeks and just enjoying
Yeah.
things. And I think all the times when you hang out with your friends and you have a good chat with your family, or you do some good thing, whatever it is, that will inform you, and you'll be excited to write a song after having a really good experience, I think.
Yeah. And then I like this question from M. Jablisco. Okay. Quarantine was good or bad for you and your music? Like, how did
Yeah.
quarantine sort of affect songwriting? Did you feel inspired, or were you like burnt out as we were all very
Yeah.
stressed last year?
Yeah, no, it's stressful. Yeah, I was definitely stressed in moments. At the start when it was lockdown and I was in Australia, and it just felt like it just felt like it was so novel and new that I was just like, oh, cool. I feel like I've got a day off school. I'm gonna just like be comfy at home and just like hang around. And there was a certain novelty to it that felt good, but definitely you get stressed looking at the case numbers every day and stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I was able to write a few songs. I wrote the song that I released a couple of months ago called "Missing Piece." I wrote that in lockdown over a Zoom call, so that was encouraging because at the time I didn't know if that song would come out and kind of be a good song, but it ended up um, you know working out. But I would say there's probably just so much less input now. So I look back at like the years that went into my second or first album, and I'm like, oh, I was just like, I don't know, it's so different to now. But I still think creativity just finds a way. It's like I'm still trying to write songs, I'm still have ideas, and so I would say it was good. It's hard to just say if it was bad or good, but I was lucky to have a very I was in a lucky position. I didn't get COVID. None of my family did. So we were kind of
Mhm.
insulated from a lot of the kind of difficult stuff.
Yeah. And one thing about Missing Piece too is that it sort of premiered on Grey's Anatomy. Were you aware of like the history and the weight of getting a song placed on that show in particular?
Yes, yeah, that was very cool. I definitely knew the significance of it because when I was growing up in high school, Snow Patrol had their songs on there, and it was like
Exactly.
I don't know why it was such a big deal, and it was like I actually didn't watch the show, but it was like I still feel like I watched those scenes. I probably watched the show a little bit, but
Yeah.
um, and it's just kept going, and like it's such a like a it's kind of like what would you say? It's just like a I don't know iconic show or like at least like a legendary long time show. So no, I definitely knew the significance and it was a beautiful scene. And I think now when I watched the scene recently.
Hmm.
I watched the scene before the song came out, and I was too distracted by just hearing my song because I was like, you have no perspective. I was like, does this sound good? Is my voice too quiet or is like the drums too loud? I was thinking all this kind of stuff, and then when I watched it just recently, I was like, no, this is good, and it's a nice scene, and so it was very cool. I'm very grateful for that to happen.
Yeah. And another cool thing that you did recently was you had the song "You" with Benny Blanco and Marshmello.
Yeah.
How does a song like that happen? Do you kind of like turn the song into them, and they kind of like put a lot of production around it, or is it like a collaboration?
Yeah, that song that came about in an interesting way. I went to write a song at a songwriting session in 2019, and it was with a guy called Blake and another songwriter named Caroline, and we hung out and we wrote this song called "You," and then Blake happens to be friends with Benny Blanco, and
Mhm.
so Benny heard this demo and he was like, "I love this song. I don't love the whole thing, but there's some parts in this that I totally love." And then I got a message from my A&R guy, like my record label guy, and he was
Yeah.
like, so Benny is going to work on the song with Marshmello. This was like 6 months after I'd written this demo. And I was like, okay, amazing. Like Marshmello is pretty
Mhm.
big. I like went and looked at Marshmello's Instagram. I was like, damn, he's like got a billion followers. And then, and obviously I know he's got some absolutely massive tunes. And I was just like, wow, if this happens, that's very cool. But I also, there's no guarantees. You never know if a song's actually going to come out. So anyway, a year later, I got a message from my record label guy, Stefan, and he sent me and he goes, "Here's the song." And I listened to it. It was like totally different. Like there was bits of the song cut out. They'd put in like this really cool instrumental part. Basically, the song just like totally 100% better. And I really just I went to work one day and I just planted this seed. And then a year later, there was this like gift of a song. So that was the experience, and I really have a good feeling about that. I'm glad it all happened.
Yeah. This is kind of a random one. We got some people from Spain. I think the same person wanted to know if you are enjoying Barcelona, but also, do you know how to speak Catalan or are you learning it?
Okay, I'm going to disappoint you because I my Spanish is terrible and my Catalan is even I have less. I need to learn some stuff. I'm going to download Duolingo though, and at the moment I am very aware of my limitations because like I went into the bakery today and the lady's like buenas and I was like yeah buenas and I was like damn I need to learn Spanish. I'm just so embarrassed right now. So yes, it's going to happen, and I guess I'm going to start with Spanish and then maybe learn. I also want to learn some conversation in Catalan, just so I can not feel like such an outsider here because I was walking the streets and I was like, hey, I'm not, I want to feel like I'm not a total outsider. Maybe that will never be the case. Maybe I'll never feel like I belong here completely, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more of a connecting, a way to access the place.
Yeah. And then speaking of connecting with people, this person also, Marina also asks, do you prefer being called Vance or James by fans?
Oh, I don't mind. Thank you, Marina. I don't mind at all. I actually I'm stoked if anyone says hello to me. I'm always very excited and I love it. And it's funny because I guess maybe I'm at that level, but I'm not like a famous person. So like if I get recognized, it's like once every few weeks at the most. And so when it happens, I'm like super like stoked and I don't care what people
Yeah.
call me. It's funny when my friends call me Vance, but I guess sometimes when I meet people and they haven't known me for long, they call me Vance. But that's also fine. I don't. It's all the same. Yeah.
Nice. And then, of course, to wrap, of course, we've been getting a version of this in the Q&A a little bit. But what are you working on now? Can we expect a new album soon?
Yeah. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. Working on songs that I've already written, but just like getting the production right and getting mixes done, which is a funny long process. Like you listen to a mix, which is just like getting all the levels. Like it's like the bass up, bass down, drums up, drums down, voice high, all this, every little detail you can kind of tweak. And then after a while, you just lose your mind. You don't even
Mhm.
have a perspective on the song. So I'm just doing that with a few songs, and then and still writing songs. So I'm doing some Zoom songwriting sessions here and there, which can have in my experience can work for songwriting, but also just working on stuff by myself. So I would say early next year, I'm hoping to have everything wrapped up. I've got about 6 songs that I really like so far, so a promising start for sure.
Nice. And any sort of touring plans or more interactive shows? I'm seeing a little bit of that in the comments as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, we're gonna do some more down the track for sure. We did a few really fun and shows fun and good shows. Wow, how good's my English? Am I losing my English too? But we did some fun and good shows. But They went really well. It was on Zoom. It was through this thing called Side Door, where you
Yeah.
kind of like create a concert feeling on a Zoom line, and there was like a gallery view with like hundreds of people, and we like interviewed people. Tried to make it like a kind of like a show, but like a talk show where there's like segments, I guess, but very loose and relaxed. But it was really fun, and I think yeah, as I'm kind of writing more and more songs, it's like nice to kind of also road test the songs and kind of share them with, I guess, the my fans who are the most kind of like, I guess, committed, and the people who tune in every time, who you know, are just the legends who've been following me for ages. So uh, the answer is yes, we'll do more.
Amazing. Well, thanks again, James. And once again, this was EW's Songwriters Camp with Vance Joy. Thanks so much. And also thank you to everyone in the comments. It's been hilarious. It's been hard to keep a straight face.
Legend. Yeah, have good these comments. Thank you so much, Marcus. It's been a pleasure. And
All
yeah,
right.
man, good times. I've been sweating it up in here. I'm look so sweaty.
I know the
And
feeling. Yeah,
yeah, how good is all these comments?
I
Just
know.
good times. This was really good. Okay, well, we'll see you here next time. We do
Yeah,
this week. We do this every week now.
sure. But have a great rest of the day, man.